This really is an historic day, Aung San Suu Kyi's historic debut in Parliament. We understand from an official from her party, the National League for Democracy, she has just taken the oath. So she is now officially taking up her seat in Parliament. Now, remember, it was just over 3 weeks ago that she won a landslide victory herself, and also 42 members of the NLD won in that election, and 33 of those members have taken their oath today. Now, it has been a long time coming, as you say, the fact that it has been a couple of decades since Aung San Suu Kyi and her party won a landslide election, a general election, but they were not able to take up their positions because of the military junta. And of course, even after the recent election, it's been a week and a half in delay for this swearing in. Now, the problem that Aung San Suu Kyi and her party candidates actually had was with the wording of the swearing in oath. They didn't want to say that they would protect the Constitution. They said rather they would want to say they would abide by the Constitution. And the problem they have with the Constitution is that 25% of all seats in Parliament are guaranteed to go to the military. Serving generals will take those positions, as well as key ministerial positions. So this was the problem that they had. But we heard just a couple of days ago from Aung San Suu Kyi that she had decided to go with what people of Myanmar wanted her to do, which was to go ahead and take her seat because they had voted for her. And then she can try and fight this from the inside. Rosemary?
So she feels maybe by delaying this the way she did, and then this massive climb down, really, that she's perhaps made her point globally and now can work from within.
Well, she was asked at the press conference, would this be seen as a step down, and she said she really didn't have any concerns about that. This is what she believed she should do for the sake of the people. And I did ask her at a press conference just last week, what would you say to your supporters? Because some who had spoken to me said they were disappointed that she had delayed her debut in Parliament. And she said she wanted to say to her supporters that there will be bumps ahead, there are going to be problems, and this isn't just now, this is ahead, but they will just have to get over these problems as they go ahead. But she did decide that it was the time for her to take her seat in Parliament. The UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon was in town the day that she decided this. He had a joint press conference with her and praised her for her flexibility, saying that this is needed in these kind of situations. And I think what this does remind us is that this is a very young democracy. It is just over a year since the new civilian government took power. And in many ways, this parliament and this government is feeling its way, is trying to find its way towards democracy. Ban Ki-moon himself called it a very fragile democracy, but said that the road towards the democracy now was too narrow to turn around and to turn back. So it does remind us that there will be these problems in the future, whether they are technical, and this is certainly what Aung San Suu Kyi called it. She said it's a technical problem, not a political problem, and she did acknowledge that there would be other problems like this coming up.
And of course, Ban Ki-moon has invited Aung San Suu Kyi to the United Nations in New York. She made the point, though, in that joint conference yesterday, didn't she, that no, not in the immediate future. What would be the delay there? Why would she not agree and perhaps suggest a timeline here?
I'm not sure why she wouldn't have suggested a timeline. Maybe it hadn't been discussed at that point. But we do know that she has accepted to go to Norway in June. Of course, she won the Nobel Peace Prize back in 1991. But that was still while she was under house arrest, and she was unable to accept the prize and to make her speech. So she will be going to Norway in June. We understand she'll be going to London as well. And so maybe it was just a timing issue that she wasn't able to say straight away, yes, she would go to the United Nations. She did say, though, that she would want to go. But bear in mind, the pro-democracy leader has not left her country for 24 years. She has obviously been under house arrest for many of those years, so was unable to. But even when she was a free woman, she didn't feel she was able to leave her country because she believed that the military leadership in power at the time would not allow her back in. And so she was too concerned about leaving and then not being able to come back to Myanmar. So that could well be in her mind as well. And of course, this is just a very new experience for her, just over a year that she has been a free woman. And it will be her first trip abroad, as I say, in 24 years.